We're here. We're alive. We're doing it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, me, right now. One day, maybe we'll have like a regular time for the daily coffee, but right now it's when we can fit it in. If I got some time, we'll talk about a subject. We'll get some answers out there. The internet is full of junk. My name is Dr. Carlos Barrio, and I am attempting to give some real actionable advice to people who actually have questions about what is going on from somebody they might be able to trust and be able to reach out to. So today we are discussing, or that is, we were going to chat about these kinds of things. You can lump theragun into, that's a brand name. You could. I'm going to use that word like Kleenex. So theragun, don't at me. I'm not selling your product. I'm not endorsing or otherwise putting down your product. Products like this, vibrating, gunny, bouncy things. And of course, that's sort of the point. That is, we have knowledge that this stuff is useful in certain contexts. That's how all of the physical therapy literature, the physical medicine literature, manual therapy literature breaks out. We do an experiment. We say, okay, this condition, if replicated in this set of people, within a certain measure of certainty can expect this result from, okay, let's say soft tissue manipulation, right? So yes, we know putting hands on tissue, putting hands on people, touching people with things makes stuff happen. Okay, so that isn't real specific, but that is what we know. Now, we can say what happens when something like this or something that otherwise isn't a threatening, painful, pain eliciting thing. So lighter pressure, maybe not heavy vibration, maybe not hot or cold, comfortable sensation. Well, we can expect certain responses from tissue, from the brain, from the central nervous system when those kinds of things are felt. We can flip that on its head and say, well, we know what will happen if we deliver a noxious stimulus or like a painful or a high pressure or a high vibration or a high temperature threshold kind of stimulus. We know what will happen. And actually, it's funny. Bad things aren't the only thing that happen on that side of the spectrum. There's some good that can happen from the changes that happen when we are imparting power, when we are imparting force, when we are using our hands or a tool to move tissue around. Both ends of the spectrum have good and bad things. Now, it's up to you, I think. This is sort of my opinion, and I guess that's why we're here, because you want to know what I think about this stuff. Is that even the low end of the spectrum thing, whether it's you're using it for a non-painful or non-high threshold stimulus, does, while it's good in that it'll almost always feel nice. The bad that comes of it is the amount of what I believe time, effort, and credit given to a really low level there's no real reason for your body to change. There's a wasted time factor. There's a distraction factor that goes in to folks who sort of ascribe to, you have to use these tools in order to achieve some goal of healing or flexibility, whatever. That's just not true. You don't need these things. Sometimes they are useful. Context is always important. I don't care which episode you see of this podcast or other things that we write or do. That is always going to be a consistent thread. Context is extremely important. If we look at a study on this tool and you are outside of the group of people that study was designed to see, well, we can make an informed decision based on that research, but it's not fully evidence-based, right? We didn't do that. We didn't replicate that study. We didn't replicate those actual conditions. So we can say, okay, we're going to inform our practice. We're going to inform our knowledge about these tools and then spread it among the people we see. And so that is the problem, because these tools are used in the literature along wide spectrums. Because people want to know, like, does this have different effects? Does foam rolling or guns or any number of other silly techniques you can do yourself have an effect on older folks? Does it have an effect on super young? Does it have a different effect on people with nervous system issues? And so when we make research like this, technically, someone who sells one of these could say, this has been highly studied in the literature. That is a fact. Now, they don't have to conclude that no positive therapeutic benefit different from time, manual therapy, normal therapy, whatever you call it. They don't have to tell you that. They don't have to say, oh yeah, but our gun didn't do anything different than like a massage would. Because that wouldn't really help, would it? It would help. It always helps to say, man, this has been highly studied in literature. It's one of the most comprehensively looked at devices in medicine. Well, whatever you call that, pseudo-medicine, close to medicine adjacent. That is a fact. You could say factually, compression, vibratory therapy decreases pain. Sure. Every one of the guns does the same thing. Now, oh no, this one vibrates at this oscillation. All of that is silliness. All of that is marketing. It's just to sort of trick you into thinking for some reason that this one that I got for $35 on Temu is any different from the $700 one you can get at any conference, at any, I don't know. These things just make me crazy. They have their place, as every tool like this does. It's just not across the board. What are the tools? There was a couple of things. Yeah, okay, that was really it. I want to lump all this stuff together so that when you are looking for an answer, you can give this stuff the credit it deserves. The people who do well are those who put themselves under load, who practice mobility across wide ranges of motion, who load themselves and train themselves in a way that is consistent with what it is they want to be able to do on a competitive basis or a higher intensity basis. High and moderate intensity movement is required for our tissue, not theraguns, not foam rolling your IT band, which will never budge, never. You got a quad under there that's usually just, well, it's always sore because usually we're using our quads way too much. No one knows how to train their tail. That's a whole other. Maybe that's the next episode. What does it look like to train your butt, to train your back, to train your hips in a way that provides a good, solid, stable foundation for all of the movement to occur? That's probably a good one coming up. But you don't need these things. These augment healing when at times. They can augment our pain perception at times. Your body is a terrific healing machine. You give it the things it needs to do that, and you give it the time it needs to do that, and the load and signals it needs to do that, and it will do that. It will heal. So you can take your gun. I got a little trick point right here. Here you go. And I'm gonna ride it out. Everybody have a good day. It's not doing anything.